Hey, Seibyyy here. Today I'm going to be showing you a castle setup for the quest for Mighty Epic Loot or Epic Loot Mighty or something like that. This is nothing special, it's just a basic setup, something that's easy to build, you can go by and expand from that. It's nothing very fancy or unique, but it works. Alright, let's get started. First of all, this is a skin, a castle skin from the beta. Looks pretty nice, and I feel like it hides the traps very well. The first thing here is the Burno Hell firewall. Basically, what happens here, the player runs into this front area that activates the wall and makes it fall down. You can see it, it's visible, there's little flames on ground. A good player will definitely see it, and he'll either just fly over it or do his evasive move through it, or activate it, jump out and wait for it to dissipate. What's supposed to happen here is the player comes in, the wall falls down, he gets knocked into the wall, all of these mobs attack. Hopefully he gets overwhelmed by the situation and dies by either the wall or the enemies. Also, these are connected to a totem. That means they can only be pulled or kited out to a certain distance, and then they'll run back and heal. These mobs teleport and do a nice amount of damage. This whole section back here is basically just to cost the player time. There's only one mine back here. Every other mine is up in the main boss hall. So that mine is there just in case they run by and skip this whole area. They'll have to go back and clear this mine to get one of the 3 stars. And this whole area back here, there's a few barricades he has to shoot through. He doesn't know what's back there. A lot of players go for it, which costs them enough time, and they definitely won't get one of the 3 stars for time. So the less stars they get, the less crowns you lose when they complete your castle. So this time thing back here, also I don't have enough defense rating to actually fill every room with enemies, so I decided to make these 3 rooms back here just to cost them time. And basically a lot of players win the castle, but very rarely, if even ever, someone gets 3 stars, so the amount of crowns you lose is limited. Now here we're getting closer to the main area. This is the entrance to the main area. There's an ice cannon and an acid cannon. The ice cannon slows and does damage. The acid cannon, if it hits the player, he takes 15% increased damage for a short amount of time, increasing the damage all of my mobs and the firewall and everything does to him. Make sure you always put barricades around your firewalls or mana draining walls, so that if he jumps in, he has a harder time to get out. Otherwise, if there's no walls around it or barricades, he can just walk out and the wall doesn't do that much damage. Again, the thing here is just to get the player overwhelmed, and hopefully he dies from something. These cannons, they all put a circle on the ground that the player sees and must jump out of or evade within a few seconds, or he gets hit by it. So these cannons make the player have to constantly be moving. He can't hole up in any of the corners and just mow down all the enemies from that same spot. These goatmen, which are also up here, I like those a lot. They do range damage, they have good range, they slow, and they do a nice amount of damage. So if you have a horde of these on your, like the amount here, if they all attack at the same time, pretty much the player's dead and he can't run very fast either. These here are tanking mobs. They protect some of the enemies around them and have a lot of hit points. There's another totem here. You can also upgrade these totems. You can craft damage and defense gems that not only heal the mobs connected to it, but also buff them slightly. There's some Billy the Trappers, they shoot 3 arrows. They do a lot of damage, that's why I have them, but the arrows are slow and can be avoided easily. And some healers that heal my mobs, and an Enrager that increases the damage. There's also one that raises the dead. That's also what this big guy does. He raises dead mobs. So if you take a little too long, he'll keep spawning them and it'll get increasingly harder. But again, the thing is, try to overwhelm the player. Try to pack all your stuff together in smaller areas. There's no point spreading all my traps and mobs out. That'll just make it way too easy. Alright, let's get to the main part here. A lot of people consider, or used to consider, my castle pay to win because of this boss here. It's one of the most, or at least one of the top 3 most powerful bosses. He has a shitload of health, he does AoE damage, he silences, and he's constantly spawning powerful mobs. He spawns 2 types of mobs: knights, which take a lot of damage. They also do some ranged AoE damage, and then he does these arrow people. I forget what they're called, but they shoot these 4 fire mines basically, and you have to evade them really fast because they do a lot of damage. And I always found that that's one of the hardest mob for me when I was playing. That's why I wanted it too, and I tried to put some extras, but at the moment I don't have enough room or crafting materials to make more. Also, the reason they call this boss pay to win is because, oh look, someone just won the castle. We'll take a look at that in a minute of an actual player playing through it. The reason they call this boss pay to win is because you can use this boss at a much earlier level than you can actually craft it or obtain this boss for yourself. And the way you do that is you buy it off the Steam store from other players. There's players who craft it and then put it on the store for sale. Back when I did it, it was maybe $5 to $10, and at the low level that you can use this guy, basically the level range of players attacking your castle, they won't be able to defeat this guy. It's pretty funny. Also, all my mines are back here. I have a bling mine and a material omatic. The bling mine spews out these green diamond crystal things, which is basically the pay shop currency, and I think it's pretty cool to have a mine that produces pay shop currency without you having to spend more money. So you can just collect it over time and you'll get a bunch of it. Even if you're not actively playing, you can just log in once a day for a second and collect your bling. Then the material omatic every 24 hours gives you, I think, 12 random resources. Nothing special. I got both of these on this packet sale. Alright, back to the defenses. As you can see, there's also here, there's turrets all over. I mean, cannons. The cannons are the ones that put that circle on the ground that the player has to evade. And this whole room is covered with the range of at least 1 cannon, so that there's no place in this whole room where he can stand still for more than a second or two, which makes it more difficult for him, and he has to kite a lot more. The big one in the back has a larger range, and you can't build at the very back. That's why if you put the big one there, the range will go all the way back to the door, and you can cover that whole space. That'll let you complete or fill up the range completely. The boss, he spawns all kinds of mobs, so while he's running around, he won't be able to maintain DPS on the boss, and the longer he stays alive, the more mobs he spawns, and the more impossible it gets for the player to conquer. And yeah, well, that's pretty much it. And now let's go watch the guy that just played through the castle. He beat it, but let's see how he did. Looks like he only got 1 star. losing your gold or crystals really doesn't matter because you always reproduce that amount back in the time that you're shielded. But the crowns is what really matters because that, you know, plays into the rank and all different sorts of things. What is this guy? An archer? This guy seems to be pretty good. I'm surprised he only got 1 star.
Don't mind if I do. When you are. Forecast ready for more. Need to pick up the pace next time.
I'm gonna scroll through the battle log a bit so you can get a feel how the castle performs in the last few days. Seems like even though it has a green rating, which means that most people beat it, I barely lose crowns. Actually, in the long run, you gain crowns. I stopped playing around 900 crowns, and within a few days, and now I made this video, I got 57 crowns in total. Alright, I hope you enjoyed. Seibyyy out.